So I guess we should do a little bit of pre-match speculation here, or we're gonna start.
Yeah, no, we're gonna be right off here with this standard mode matchup.
Uncle immediately telling us we're gonna have a bad time with this one.
Well, there's a piece of heart, so at least we're already at least a quarter of the way to some more help. And just looked out the bushes at the start here, going past. Some people go right, that is wrong.
You prefer the left?
Well, no, it's faster. It's not about preference. It's just less distance. You have to go left or anyway.
All right, that's fair.
And here we go. Yeah, we'll see what. So if I go as a sword, you know it's going to be a sword every time. But no, it is a hammer today.
He brought his construction tools. Immediate bomb drop for Leslie. So I feel like they're just going to be running straight through escape at this point. They might kill a few more enemies, but I don't think they're going to do any more bomb farming. They'll probably just opt to buy them at Kakariko if they need to.
Yep, and moving on. So the hammer luckily does let them farm very easily.
Nice. Both runners got their bombs, so. That blue guard somehow blocked the hammer with the back of his sword.
$50 is nice, lets us buy bombs later. No matter what, if we end up needing more, but we probably won't, especially if there's already a 4 there.
Yeah, Bradley's set for all of Kakariko at this point.
Yeah, so if you want to avoid this one green guard here, it's very simple. You just have that pillar actually, like those pillars that block the vision. So if you walk slightly higher, you will always avoid the guard there.
Makes that room a fair bit faster rather than having
Yep.
both of them decide to come chasing after you.
Yeah, it really should be playing a little bit more. Because it doesn't seem very comfortable with the hammer here. And he does get it down.
Its hitbox definitely takes a bit of getting used to.
And moving on here. We're going to see how he handles. So this, you actually only need to use the hammer twice to kill this guy. So, but yeah, the hammer is definitely something to learn. Especially with how powerful it is. It is a tempered sword with a bad hitbox, pretty much.
Which, with enough practice, can be completely mitigated, basically.
Yeah. Okay, and moving along. So the escape is a pretty simple part of the game for the most part. Look, obviously made a little bit more difficult by the addition of randomized swords. Bradley has the extra bombs here. He's going to have enough to go through all of Kakariko, and depending on what he finds from here on out, he may also opt to buy more bombs if needed. You need around 15 to 20 bombs for the initial part of the game.
I could definitely see purchasing some more just before leaving Kakariko, and still need to do South Shore if he's going to take the trip down there. So.
Yep. As a pro damn 4 bombs from those guys as well. So it seems like 4 bombs are both in the guard pool and the creature pool here.
This dungeon.
Oh, and the
wow.
hook shot. That's fantastic. It's actually much in this dungeon. This is a better weapon than the hammer. Not sure why Bradley was going for magic pots when he doesn't need them at all. And it's somewhat nice to have some magic, but you'll generally pick it up before you need it. Usually you can defeat a dungeon. It's very rare that you will need to farm magic for any reason.
Probably just a little bit of an extra safety just because it's there, but it will slow down the escape a little bit.
And just like without magic, there's no like you can farm magic. There's definitely places to farm magic later. It's just usually, especially since you already have the hammer, so you won't be required to kill any bosses with like a Perna or Samaria or Fire Rod. And I don't think I've ever seen a seed where, well, actually, you can't kill Cold Stare before you can kill, what's it called? Cold Stare would be the one boss that I could see you being forced essentially to use magic.
Yeah, just for the.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
But even then you have, so yeah, like I said, you usually won't need magic before you're able to complete at least Thieves Town.
Which really, as long as you've got a weapon to hit blind with 9 times, is completable, so. So the escape, the back of escape only giving us 60 rupees total. Still nice, as they are definitely not short on money for the merchant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can buy the merchant and bombs if they see fit. They can use the hookshot also if they know where to save time throughout the run.
Our stun prize is just a heart in this game.
And it looks like it's just a heart for that guy as well. Bradley is spending a lot of time farming enemies. When honestly, the first thing to beat out of you in Randomizer should be to spend as little time killing enemies as possible, even during escape when you, in theory, want a bomb. It's once you have a single bomb, you just want to stop killing enemies. There's not really any reason to kill an enemy at this point in the game.
Yeah, it's also possible, even if you are looking for something to farm too long and end up wasting time instead of actually saving it.
Yep.
The seed's raining bombs, anyways, though. They just keep getting more of them.
Yeah, that's really the only thing that you want. If the tree, the hoarder, or the stun prize isn't 20s, money you're just gonna have to live with the lack thereof. Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Alright, I was gonna say there's plenty of money in chests anyways, so taking the time to farm it is probably good. Just gonna bite you in the long run.
I think around a third of the item pool is some form of money. And there we go. I mean, see, like it's so common. There's I think 2 or 3 300s left in the pool, 1 or 2 100s, 1 or 2 50s. All of these. And there's the flipper. So it looks like Zora is not only going to be possible, but we're getting pretty close to the money needed for it.
We also stole Blind's coin collection with Bombos and Quake.
Early hot shot doesn't really lead to much other than once you do have other items, it's going to give you a lot of access. There's the gloves, which is exactly the item you want to see when you have hot shot, because it gives you access to Death Mountain.
It is currently...
And with the hammer, we actually have access to all of Death Mountain.
It is currently a bit of a sequence break, though. They still need the lamp or the flute for the logic to actually send them up there. But I don't think most runners. I guess it depends, but I think most runners are fine with doing a little bit of sequence breaking.
Yeah, especially for something as important as that, and possibly stick in Dark World. Now, with the shot, it does mean that you maybe want to wait until you have the Titan's Mitts to do all of the Dark World stuff there. Looping all, and there's the mirror even. So this is a lot. So we actually have access to Swamp as well. The moment we have Dark World access, we have access to Swamp. So that is a huge sign of where to go.
Oh no, it's going to be a pendant, isn't it?
I mean, even if it was, that would be my first place to go. Just following the items that you get from Sphere 1 into your next area is a huge sign. It always has been a randomizer. It's just the way that the randomizer works. If you don't know, essentially what it does is it takes two lists, a list of items and a list of item locations. The list of items starts with all of the major items. You might now start with the useless dungeon items and places those first. And then it takes all of the major items and places those first, and then fills it in. So if it places something super important in, say, deep in Swamp, you need it. Oh, and there's the mirror for. I didn't see what was on the ledge, but it was important enough for Leslie to go get it.
It's the bow.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's a nice little sequence break as well. So, going back to the logic, what it does is it sorts the list, and I think at some point it reverses. But essentially, if it places something deep in the logic, it's going to throw you all of the other items needed, usually early on. So, if something is stuck in ice, which is another place we can go to quickly, or in Swamp, it's going to try to give you the items to do those areas. Right now, actually, depending on if we find Titans, we have access to and can complete Ice, Pod. At this moment, once we have Dark World access, we can complete Ice, Pod, Swamp, Turtle Rock. Oh, sorry, not Turtle Rock. Ice, Swamp, Pod, Eastern, Hera, yeah, Swamp, Ice, Pod, Eastern, Hera. Yeah, we have a lot of access right now.
This is definitely seed that's just like here's like half of the item or dungeon starter kit.
We honestly, this is kind of what you want to see. It will all depend on where our last pendants are. Green Pendant Hera would push me to do Death Mountain right now. To grab, because you honestly usually do Hera when you have access to it early. And with that Hera access, what you would be able to do is grab that green pendant and then go do Eastern. So it's probably what I think that would be the most efficient route in.
Just complete that entire.
Just complete the mountain and then hope that you have Dark World access and just do, because you have the mirror, so now you can do Pod and Eastern. There, but somebody mentioned in chat, it's very possible that we're going to see a lot of Dark Rooms from this seed, the way that it is leading us. I would not be surprised if doing Pod Dark Rooms is a huge boon to your routing.
Still have a few more item locations before they're going to have to go with that, though. We might get the lamp in here and just not have to worry about it.
What we really want to see is the Moon Pearl at this point. And there's the Silvers, though, so that's a huge boon to our runners. And I know Bradley went and got the bow. Yeah, there it is. I was pretty sure that they did the same thing. They did the check, and then they went down.
Yeah, those Silvers are fantastic to have because it makes several of the bosses just much easier to kill.
Mm-hmm.
I always get confused when people take the flippers route up to Ice Rod Cave. I'm like, no, go check Ice Rod, then fake flippers. Oh wait, they've got the real flippers. Don't fake flippers at all.
Yeah, no, but there is a glitch that you can do if you have the boots, called Water Walk. You can arm that in the underworld, which is, or anywhere, but it's most commonly done in Ice Rod Cave. It allows you to jump off a ledge and start walking on water.
Which, if you've already got the boots too, just allows you to just run straight across the surface much faster than.
What that lets you do is it lets you jump off of water, and it allows you to grab the item on the ledge. So that is a super useful sequence break if you don't have flippers. But all of these glitches, I think, are broken by having the flippers, unfortunately.
Yeah, the flippers do a pretty good job of making sure you actually go in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the blue tunic on the island. I don't think we'll see people pick that up, but we might, depending on.
Yeah, it depends on. I mean, if I've got the mirror and I'm already doing swamp, after swamp, I'll just go pick that up and then save and quit or flute or whatever. It's not that far away.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best times to grab it. And if the seed is feeling particularly mean on hearts, then blue mail can make a really big difference.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna see Bradley do some running down here.
Probably going to cycle around and do the hobo check as well, while Leslie heads up to, well, King Ripoff usually.
Oh, this seed, finding the early flippers, and we don't have anything yet. There's not too many locations left in the seed. That's the nice thing about getting Escape done and over with. You don't have to sit there worrying, well, does Escape have anything for me today? Who knows?
I'm guessing they're going to put off like Eastern as long as possible, because they do want to combo it together.
Oh, and there's a bottle. That could be the progression right there. I would go and get that bottle, since it is their first. If it was their second or third, consider stepping it. But with it being their first, you absolutely want to do that. Now, Leslie Pro is avoiding walking on the grass. That is actually faster than walking on the light blue water. It's even it is slightly slower. It is in fact slightly slower than walking, or walking is slightly slower. The shallow water though is super slow. I think it's like half as fast almost.
Yeah, it's pretty silly. So, of course, the one time I decide to slay King Zora, he's like, no, I'm going to prove you wrong, giving us the flute.
Yeah, the flute's a big deal. That is a straight to Death Mountain scenario. Like I said, do Death Mountain, grab the green pendant. Then, if you don't have Dark World access yet, go to Eastern and hand in that green pendant.
Oh yeah, just everything in one nice loop.
Oh yeah, and with Kakariko, going back to Kakariko with the bottle actually too, so that is super useful. We get to hit both of these locations, activate the flute, hand in the bottle. That does plug up a hole. Why green pendant prior to pod? Well, you would want to do, in theory, Eastern areas. What? That must. I don't know what happened there.
Hello, Bush?
It must be a bush crab or something. I don't think that one can be a bush crab, though. But, okay, that was very strange. And there's the flute for Bradley. Yeah, so back to my explanation on pod. You want to combine pod, Eastern, and green pendant all in one. So that's why you want to do Hera. You usually have to do Hera anyway. When it's green pendant, it's 3 quick items. So I definitely recommend doing that. We'll probably find the lamp on this part as well, hopefully, on the west side or on the east side of Death Mountain. I'll be curious to see how they route this too. There's no real wrong way to route your directions on Death Mountain.
Yeah, I'm kind of expecting the flute myself fairly soon at this point, as it seems to be giving them a lot of direction towards the dungeons that have
This
dark
is
rooms.
once they have Dark World access. it should be dungeon. Like if they find the Titan's mitts, probably the best route to go is Kakariko, start in Thieves Town, and just do all of the dungeons from south and up. Like the route in this is going to be insane if they can do it once they have Dark World access. I think this is one of those rare times where if you find Hammer, you're probably better off starting in Kakariko rather than do Hype Cave first, just because of how this seed is rolling. And just some money there, so you're going to ignore that. And Leslie's going to do Hera first, it looks like, by pulling out his map. I would grab that heart, too, just because we don't actually have a lot. And I've seen seeds... Oh, actually, Bradley is not doing Death Mountain. Okay.
Time for the Eastern play. Or maybe not. Oh, Sasrala first. Okay.
Like I said, now with Leslie, Leslie's probably going to finish it, grab the green pennant, then do... then when they come here, they won't be making a second or third trip here. The way that this seed is going, you'll be able to make one trip and clear every single item. Oh, it's Ice Palace is the green pennant. Oh, okay.
Yours not...
Never mind. Okay, Hera is a significantly worse play.
An old man giving us some literacy. Alright, let's see what Spiral Cave has for us today. Unfortunately, we're going to have to do the slow way. No quick run for us.
That's fine. Like I said, I still think doing a quick check in Hera is worth it. But
you might as well, since you're up here, just take a quick look inside and see what it's got for you.
So with this pendant Thieves Town, and pendant Ice Palace, it actually completely changes the route. And the route in, ooh, Cane of Samaria. Okay, that's neat.
Death Mountain still being nice.
Bradley doing this first before having Dark World access does mean they're gonna have to make a second trip here. And the Merle was in. Wow. So the second trip was required. Okay, that is super interesting. I totally missed the Merle being there when I said that. Okay. So Death Mountain might not pay out other than this Cane of Samaria.
Which you're inevitably going to get while you're up there anyways, so...
Well, that is a location that sometimes gets left behind a bit. But we'll
I
see.
guess that's fair, yeah. If you don't have boots...
Oh, okay, never mind. There's the Titans. That's huge. Okay, this changes everything.
Both choices are the right choice.
Unfortunately, I would do Super Bunny Cave if I was Leslie there, but with the hook shot, maybe he just wants to save and put and go find the pearl. Unfortunately, the Moon Pearl being in Eastern does ruin the really good possibilities of Routen here, putting all of my Routen talk to shame. No lab, though. The lab could be pretty much anywhere, honestly, in this seed, with the items that we have collected.
We've definitely gotten a good lineup for completing dungeons, just not necessarily seeing our way through some of them.
Yeah, so this is going to be one of those, another seed where we are going to be waiting on rods, it looks like. We need both the fire and ice rod.
Ah, the classic. Alright, Bradley makes her way through the dark rooms, so they're going to come over here, check this chest, and we're going to find out whether they attempt the back dark room. Nope, they're just gonna leave.
Okay, so doesn't know the other dark room. That's unfortunate. It's gonna flute out to Death Mountain.
Which means they're gonna go pick up their mitts if they do, assuming they do that loop. Not loop, Paradox Cave. What am I talking about? It's kind of a weird loop.
Okay, we'll see what here gets found if he continues on here. That Moon Pearl, again, completely ruins any really amazing routing you could do.
Still good that they're both going to have it, though. It's not in... It's in an unfortunate location, but not something extremely silly.
I'll be very curious to see if Leslie finishes this up. It's not too bad, the dark room, if you know what you're doing. The way that I like to describe it is, you pull out your sword to like do a spin, it'll always keep you facing the way that your sword is. So if you just move right and you fire arrows until your arrows hit the mimic's face, then you move towards where that mimic is, move back quickly, and basically when you see him move, start firing your arrow. Because once he's moving, he's vulnerable. And you should be able to do him every time. Then you have to figure out a way to deal with the pot, which is odd because you can't actually be at the very top of the room for that pot. You need to be slightly lower, basically. Just the way that pots work.
Yeah, it's
just... he has the book! I missed where Bradley got the book. Oh, it was, because Leslie has it as well. So it must have been in EP and I missed it. My bad.
It's in Sahasrara's closet.
Oh, okay. My bad. Yes. So book is another, like, and that's it's another dungeon we can do. We can do everything. There are so many dungeons that we have access to right now.
I feel that's both a good and a bad thing, because at the same time you can also kind of get into the whole like decision paralysis thing of which one do I go to.
Leslie showing off the strategy I generally do.
And they're out. Deadrock, please, just get out of the way. So because Bradley's got the Moon Pearl, if they head over to Paradox Cave and get the mitts, we're probably going to immediately see Dark Death Mountain while they're here, because there's really no reason to hop out at that point. Even with the early hookshot, can clear all of Hookshot Cave too, so a ton of information and a ton of items to check all at once.
I'll be curious to see where Leslie goes. Again, with the Samaria, depending, I would honestly check Mire. I know you probably don't want to do Mire with your current set of equipment, but with silvers, it's not actually that half bad. It's really just the slightly low health. I had 7. Yeah, going straight to Mire. Honestly, if I can complete Mire right here, I'm completing Mire right here. If I have the medallion for it with his current set of items.
They do need to be a little bit careful going in here, not necessarily because of health, but if the big key is locked behind the cutscene, they don't have a fire source yet.
That's true. Oh, and I guess no lamp probably is going to be a bit deterrent, but at least doing desert and seeing if that's boots locked, because that is important information.
Yeah, it will confirm whether they need to spend time looking for that, or if they can just treat boots as not required for go mode.
The one medallion we don't have.
Naturally.
See, it's slowing down a little bit here with the information that we have. Also nice that that isn't available, because now then it puts in the back of my mind, does my opponent know how to do the Mire Dark Run?
That room is that it's something. So Bradley needs to be careful here. And they get past the dead rocks and into the portal.
Luckily, there are no enemies in this section, but he's got to be careful in Hoodshot Cave not to fall. There's a heart. There are a lot of hearts, actually, though, in there. So you just have to be a little bit careful. Oddly enough, Dark Death Mountain only has 3 Lionels for enemies, and they are, like, they're on the bridge, so you can completely avoid... I guess there's these guys. I always forget that they exist.
Yeah, but they're not a threat.
No, not with the pots sitting right there. Wow, completely forgot they existed. Huh.
That's how insignificant they are. No one remembers they're there.
Leslie spending the time to grab the one item there. Interesting. Anytime you see a timer only on one side, it means that either one of 3 things. The one racer is possibly streaming very behind, either due to lag issues or something, or they don't have a timer on their stream, which is the case for this race, or the most common one, they have a timer but forgot to start it, so it would just show either the run time or 0000 the whole time. So those are the reasons. So it's probably just you been watching a lot of races that ended up like that.
But sometimes your hotkeys don't feel like working.
Yeah, that too.
So we got the blue cane and...
That was a complete bust Dark World. There's absolutely nothing in this Dark World. But this is important. Can we access Death Mountain? We can. In theory, yeah, we can. In theory, we can't get very far here. With just Samaria, no Fire Rod, we only have access to a single chest by default. But we can, if that is a small key, the next chest is a small key. The chest after that's a small key, which then leads to a big key. Then one of the next 2 chests is a small key. We can get all the way to Laser Bridge, where the Fire Rod and Ice Rod could be.
Oh man, if both Fire Rod and Ice Rod are on Laser Bridge.
I've never seen that before. I hope to never see it in anything, but it could happen. I've seen Fire Rod there, but the runner already had Ice Rod, so it was fine.
If they're both there, that's basically like a game-winning play. I don't think anybody really wants to go into T-Rock without it.
Bradley also has a blue potion. I would consider going to that one chest and then Death Warping on these spikes. So like on the left side, rather than use the blue potion. Because you're going to want some health for the next few rooms. If you only have a fighter sword and no Fire Rod, good luck killing the guy. And what is this chest? Oh, it's not this. So we are actually completely locked in this dungeon. So that is a
instant.
good thing, because it means that making that play is not... It's not a big time loss to check, and it means that nobody's going to get messed up by it, right?
Curious that he didn't opt to attempt the run over to Spike Cave, because they've got Hammer, they've got Blue Cane. Am I missing something?
No, you are not. That would be a fantastic play. You can just walk through the whole thing with Max Magic and Blue Cane. So that would have also been a very good play. Might not be on the back of their mind.
It is another one of those like single item locations out in the middle of nowhere, and having to walk past the Lionels with a fighter sword and green mail is.
Let's also check again. This is a very worthwhile check. No Fire Rod goes into the first few chests in Skull Woods, which is a very, very standard play. The two sections of Skull Woods are basically completely different.
This part is basically overworld, given how easy it is to go straight out the door and just walk out of the woods. So
in this Firebar room, you can actually do it without boots. Pretty simply, these rooms have really good strats in them, actually, to get through them very quickly. The first room, if you just go straight down right away, you can avoid the guys. Don't hit the switch. Oh, you do not want that guy in there with you. You can hit those guys. You can keep those guys away. You don't even have to hit them, and you can avoid everything and get there before the fire rod spins around. It's fire rod, or bar.
well,
Oh, there's wow!
You called it.
Whoa! Fire rod in its location.
you chant its name enough,
Wow.
and
That is a huge deal. Yeah, nope. There's no other chests in this area. That is huge, actually.
So do we see the fighter sword hammer moth?
Maybe because we have blue potion.
Yeah, that's true. They'll probably they'll have plenty of use of the fire rod to fight the moth as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Leslie is heading over to Spike Cave by the looks of it. Alright, Bradley. Let's see if you're actually going to try to fight the moth, or if you're just going to grab the chest here. Ooh, unfortunately I haven't used that blue pot.
Yeah, pedestal being I think less than 2%, or maybe just around 2% chance. Not gonna happen very often.
Still, bit of peace of mind checking it and knowing, technically speaking, you don't need to get the pendants. Unless the bosses are carrying items. So fortunately for Bradley, if they don't head back to it, they're not losing anything in Spike Cave, just a piece of heart. Meanwhile, a type cave time for Leslie. Okay, I guess we get the love cave.
Okay, so we are going to see this. This is pretty tough to do. He's got the health, but not the blue mail.
Needs to be very careful about getting bodied by Moth or taking the, I don't know, what do you call those, the rings?
They're like, I don't know. I mean, he's Mothra. I mean, he's not Mothra, but he's obviously based on Mothra. Mothra being hugely popular in Japan in the 80s. Well, actually, still is, but, you know. So I think Mothra shot out, like, weird laser sound beams. He's a bat thin, so it's probably just ultrasonic waves.
This is what happens when you breed bats and moths. They get powerful person-killing echolocation. I don't know. Anyways, Bradley getting a good fight there. Takes the moth down and gets their first crystal because they didn't finish going through EP earlier. So
If I had one piece of advice I wish I could give to every new person that's never given is don't fight anything unless it is a giant boss or holds a key of some kind. It's just like the biggest recommendation I could give to anyone. Wow, 3 dids. Why don't I ever get those dids? Why is it always...
I mean, the good news with the digs, at the very least, is both runners are guaranteed to have the same result. So, unless you don't finish it, and then I believe it changes, doesn't it?
Shovel is not required to play that digging game. The guy just gives you a shovel.
Which is hilarious when you dig out the shovel.
Yep, he can actually have a shovel. The reason for that is that in the vanilla game, you can very commonly that's why I was just clenching there a bit. You can oh hey look, there's a button net. Can't get it though. Don't have the key. In the vanilla game, your flute replaces your shovel entirely. So you generally playing this game will run into the forest if you're just checking everything on your way. You'll usually replace your shovel with the flute already by the time you talk to that guy. Just by follow. Lampsmiths. Apparently, you needed a smith to craft the metal and glass to hold the fire.
Makes sense.
So
I can see that.
That's actually a logical thing for those guys to make. That's weird, honestly. Lightsmiths sound like a weird JRPG like name for the heroes. Am I the only one who sees that?
No.
Oh, okay. I feel like there's a JRPG somewhere that calls their heroes lightsmiths. Okay, but the thief only gives you an upgrade for the purple chest, unfortunately. So we are going to pod. This is a very obvious play with the lamp.
Unfortunately, Leslie did finish Eastern earlier, but so they're not going to get the nice combo there.
Well, with this one, they did it as efficiently as they could. So honestly, can't blame them. With the way that this scene was laid out, there was no perfect route in, unfortunately.
No, not with the moon pearl right in the front door, basically for Eastern. It is an unfortunate thing that the seed decided to put it in that order, though.
And avoiding these sound common play if it's a pendant. Somewhat, a lot of people like to check the first 4 items.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Bradley go in there in a moment. Probably just, yeah.
Last thing you want to find is the boots in this in the surrounding area, and you did these down first, because this place is a lot of straight angles that you can just run through with the boots. So
I think that's definitely why a lot of runners choose to clear all 3 of the Village of Outcast locations before coming in here, just in case. Oh yeah, this has been a very rich seed, even after everything they've got.
yeah, they've already spent all their money, and they've got like 1269 right now. Yeah, we're just seeing them go through Pod and Thiesdown. We're going to see all of Thiesdown possibly from Bradley.
Guessing they don't want to leave any items behind at all. I'll admit I can see this because I've seen how V29 is enjoying putting items in pendant dungeons, so I really can't blame them for deciding to just make sure there's nothing here.
And seeing Bradley go up top here. These guys can be a little bit spooky, but with the hutshot they actually die in 1 shot. Leslie opted to use Kane and Quake to get through this room, quite stunning all the enemies in the entire room. So I hope that Bradley ends up doing the Smiths right away. That'll be helpful for them.
I can't help but feel that they're going to do the standard, head down to Digging Game, and then come up and grab the frog. We got Ether in Pod, so there's our Mire access.
Okay, that is pretty interesting that we now actually have access to Mire completely. And heck, with that Fire Rock being in Swamp, could be the thing that puts Bradley ahead, honestly. It's Skull. Because Leslie's going to want to do a bunch of these dungeons. And so if there's something important Fire Locks, that almost vanilla, honestly, because of where it was placed. Could be pretty important to the seed.
I actually like how we've got different fire items. So it looks like Leslie's going to take the opportunity to clear out Podwile here. Absolutely the right move to make. No reason to take a second trip here just for no reason. while Bradley is actually going to fight blind. I'm guessing they've determined that there's an item left. Fortunately, blind with the blue cane is pretty easy. You get to phase 3 and you can really just walk into them at that point. Bradley going to attempt it without the Kano and is basically just taking blind apart. Nice fight. Ah, and gets a big 20 for it. So I believe, unfortunately, that play into Thieves Town did not work out for Bradley at all. Oh yeah, there was a mushroom. What am I talking about? I'm being silly. That mushroom could make a difference. Thieves Town was not the green pendant. Ice Palace is a green pendant, unfortunately. Alright, let's see how Leslie fares against Helmasaur King here. Getting the tail swing right near the door is always nice. Just a lot of free hits with the hammer at that point. And one shot with the silver arrows. Almost a perfect fight from Leslie. You really can't ask for anything better than that. And getting some bombs. But more importantly, a crystal. So Bradley's going to pick up the lamp here, and is also going to have the ability to see in dark rooms. They don't need it as a fire source as much as they picked up the fire rod from Skullwoods earlier, but you want both. Leslie choosing to go into Mire at this point. Or not. I lied. Leslie going and looking at desert, I guess.
Oh, it looks like Bradley's gonna do fake powder.
Oh man, if the bat actually has something.
It's pretty rare. He's just again, Logic likes to lock a lot of things behind a lot of things. So this could be, but it being just one location really lowers its chances. Yeah.
Yeah, just
dungeons. Dungeons are so common because it's so many locations in one. It used to be that dungeons were slightly more often to have items, and that's because they would be counted as like 10 or 12 locations. Like all the useless stuff was put after. But now I believe that keys, big keys, compasses, maps are placed first in the logic. So then the items are placed, then the junk items are placed. So now the overworld is more often, or not more often, as a side effect it's more often.
Alright, Bradley taking their South Dark World trip while Leslie's gonna go fight Landmolus. Might as well get the crystal out of the way. And down they go. And more money, because that's exactly what the runners want at this point. Alright, let's see if Leslie's gonna choose to go into Mire while they're here. It's looking like a yes, since they picked up the ether earlier.
Yeah, the lap here and the ether does lead me to believe they should go here, but without the fire rod...
They at least have the lamp. It makes the cutscene room a little bit slower, but it can be done just by walking between them. Alright, Bradley making a trip to the Love Cave over here.
Getting health is never bad.
Oh no. So, Leslie's gonna have to be a bit careful in here because everything hurts. At this point, the game technically intends you to have the blue mail from Ice Palace, but the good news is getting to Vitreous, though, the fight is pretty simple with silver arrows. You might only have to dodge an eyeball or two. Meanwhile, Bradley is opting to go into Swamp Palace. So the good news for Leslie is, depending on the layout of keys, Mire, you usually end up having to virtually full cleared, or at least check a large amount of it anyways. Whereas,
well,
unfortunately...
It's about 5 minutes slower to go mode Swamp or not, so...
Yeah.
Okay, so now if I'm Leslie Pro, he's gonna do the whole thing. I normally do the whole thing, but with the lamp, I usually opt to just check every other chest and hope that it's not in the vanilla bit key. Once I find the bit key, I'll go and do the right side of Mire. And just an option from Leslie. You can always do the whole thing. You actually don't even have to do anything fancy. You can just go one by one, and you'll still reach it. You have a very long time to hit these lamps.
And that's exactly how you know the cutscene is too long.
Well, I mean, the cutscene doesn't change depending on the items you have.
No, but the fact that the torches get to go out even with that long of a time limit to do it. Classic Mire.
And just a small key. Unfortunately, the small keys here don't do anything. They're just kind of placed because, I mean, you need them in case you enter doors wrong. The game actually gives you just enough keys and pots and stuff to do the dungeon. So, all of the small keys are for all of these extra rooms that a casual player could accidentally go into. There's the ice rod!
Wow.
That's very interesting. So we know where the fire rod and the ice rod are. Are we in... Did we find... Yeah, desert is done.
Desert is done, so unless...
We just need a sword at this point.
Well, we're even going to get blue mail out of Swamp.
Sorry?
We're even going to get blue mail out of Swamp. The big chest has...
fantastic. Oh, yeah. So the sword is slower.
So, unfortunately, you do need, a bigger sword to actually hit that crystal switch through the wall. The butter knife is almost literally a butter knife in terms of reach. Now, for a bit of peace of mind, they would really like to find the boots still, just so that they don't have that little bit of concern of getting up to GT and finding out that the big key's on the torch. Most people don't expect that to happen, but it can, and it really sucks when it does.
Okay, we're gonna see if Bradley finds a sword here. So like, man, these items are all over the place. Ether being in pod means Bradley will just eventually get it.
Yeah, they need to get access to Mire, where, you know, Crystal and Ice Rod, so...
Do you search everything if all you're missing is boots with deep... No, you'd go mode. If I'm Leslie and I find the fire rod in stall, or if I'm Bradley and I find the ice rod in Mire, at that point I just check the items that are very close to me and the items on the way to the bid key. So, especially with the dungeons that we have in this, you will probably find the Master Sword. We have the biggest dungeons as crystals, so I think that they're going to go mode straight to the tower once they find their respective rod that they're missing. Because both runners are just missing the rod and a sword. I think we've seen both tablets and neither are useful.
Alright, so standard issue Silver Arrow Vitreous there. Just kind of run back and forth and one shot each. 2 for the big one. Done. Leslie might be going to Skull Woods at this point. But they're going to head down to Village of Outcasts. Oh no, I think we're about to have menu boss Argus. Yep, here we go. So if anyone was curious as to how you increase your menu time, this is it right here. And unfortunately without a better sword.
Well, no, it is faster always to use spins. So this is going to be slower but easier to do.
That's
so you
fair.
can actually hold your sword and charge your spin while you shoot out the hook shot. That is a thing you can do. You can even with the fighter sword, you can double hit these guys with it. But yeah, this is going to kill your menu time for sure. Dipping the first half of Thieves Town is very common. Honestly, without the fire rod and how close he is to Domo, he's probably just hoping he can skip all of Skull Woods, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes up to Skull Woods after. But I think he's going to be, based on the skill level that I'm witnessing, that I'm seeing here, I could see Leslie going to Skull first. Just though I don't think Bradley's gonna go to Pod. Or sorry, I don't think that Leslie is. I don't think Bradley's gonna go to Pod, get his ether soonish, but I think he's gonna try to clear dungeons first. I don't see them going to Ice Palace, which is good. So both runners can avoid Ice Palace completely. That is always very nice.
Alright, this definitely looks like a Skullage from Leslie, so he's going to pick up the Fire Rod and just be looking for that sword at that point. But to be completely fair, you can also find those in GT, so... choosing to just stun the beetles and walk through.
Okay, so he's gonna get his Fire Rod right here, and there he is in go mode. As far as we know, at 106.48.
So at this point, he's just going to start clearing all of the dungeons, heading to the bosses as quickly as possible, likely, and hoping that GT or one of the chests he has to check on the way has that sword upgrade.
He'll probably check a few chests that are close by, but for the most part, he's going to go to go mode. In Swamp, he's going to check the chests in the basement part, as well as the one chest that you get for the bomb. In Turtle Rock, it's basically a full clear already, so he's just going to do it as a full clear, regardless of where the keys are, because it's already required to be a full clear. And that's all he has, actually. That's all he has left. And then GT is probably where the other sword is, if not two of them. So we will be doing go mode, essentially, because of the way that these dungeons are laid out. You're not going to check the two chests on the left side, because it's not worth the time. And you're not going to check the overworld, because, again, statistically, one of 4 swords is going to be in GT.
It's a fairly safe bet, especially given that, yeah, we already haven't found a second one. There's even the possibility that there's more than one in there, so... GT has a lot of item locations in it, slightly more than, what, 1/10 of the entire item pool?
In fact, honestly, even with the fighter sword, if I am not sure on if I can beat my opponent very quick, I go to, he wants hearts. I get it, because he's on fighter sword. That's understandable. So I'd pick up a potion. Wow, we only have 1 pot. That's unfortunate. That's annoying.
But yeah, you can even clear GT with the fighter sword. You just can't fight Ganon. So if you go through it and there isn't one there, you can still finish it and just go from the pyramid looking for it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we haven't even seen Catfish. I don't even think we've seen the pyramid, unless it was there while I was had to step away for a minute or two.
I don't think we have.
Like, I'm pretty sure we just haven't seen Pyramid or Catfish. So I think you just go mode, and if for some reason all the swords are in weird spots, you do that. With silvers, you don't need tempered, even at a low skill level. It's just, you're going to need to have some patience in the fight, honestly.
And if for whatever reason you pick up butter, you just start swinging it everywhere and Ganon just falls down. Have to be a little bit careful not to fall off the ledge in the later phases, but the
Yep.
first two phases go down like instantly. With aside from the fact that they have to go through a cycle, but
Yeah, we really just need that. The temper meets go a lot faster, but I would be surprised if we're checking the overworld at this point. Which to runners, the distinction really is to us as runners. Are we skipping the overworld and going straight to GT? If so, it's basically go mode. Yeah, we need to find a sword, so we're going to check a few extra chests than normal. But I mean, heck, even with the Master Sword, I mean, we're still probably checking those extra chests as well. Because with Tempered versus Master is such a huge time save. But it is dependent on a lot of things.
it could be to different runners, different things as well. It's kind of a loose description in the first place. So, for all intents and purposes, there's really no reason not to treat it as go mode, though. Especially if you're feeling like your opponent might be right behind you. It could very easily be the difference between a win or a loss if they meander to check a couple extra chests and you're just like, no, I'm just going to hope it's in GT.
They're cheering in purple. I don't know if that's the screen or because of the Phazon suit sprite.
That would be because of the sprite. Some things reference the character sprite's palette for their colors. I believe if Bradley went to Cat Creek right now, a bunch of the townsfolk would either be wearing purple, red, or blue.
So Bradley, again, needs to go a pod as soon as possible. And is going to Swamp, unfortunately.
They've already cleared Swamp, though.
Oh,
so.
never mind. So they are probably Chicken Pyramid? That Ice Rod could be anywhere. So, unfortunately, Ice Rod is locked behind a lot less things. Fire Rod only locks a few chests, but just like the fact that they still need Ether as well is just rough. This is a pretty tough seed.
It's an unusual layout for sure. It's taken the opportunity to slow down the runners in numerous locations. So.
I'm not sure Pod the probably because they've already checked most of Eastern and Sashrala. So those two things already being done really lowers the option for Pod. For Leslie Pro, I guess they just decided to go to Pod. It really is just Pod, which is just 5 items.
Leslie actually doing left side. They don't want to risk GT not having a sword, I guess.
Wow, okay. Well, then for these runners, then perhaps they are not in go mode. But statistically, Chansar is going to have at least one sword in almost every seed. I would actually be very curious to see the percentage on that, on how often it has a progressive sword in one of its 27 chests.
Wow, there's actually 27. Yeah, I guess because there's the ones on the climb as well. Those can totally be a sword.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen seeds where the validation chest is the 27th check has a sword.
It's great when that's your tempered, actually, because thank you seed.
Yeah, I mean, I would be again. I think that Leslie is just being more thorough because they maybe don't. They want to have Master Sword going in. Maybe don't even want to risk. Want to find the tempered sword in GT. It's not a bad play if you're not comfortable, but it is all runners' choice. Maybe also not wanting to run into the seed where there is no sword there.
It's also a possibility that they could feel that they're ahead at the moment because they effectively hit go mode at what, like 106. So they might feel they're ahead. They took a quick run into Mire there and were like, "Here's the ice rod."
Yeah, that too. That finding that ice rod in the early Mire play. And if they did research on their opponent, they may not. They may. Oh, okay.
Speaking of swords.
So remember when I said that there's a chance that they could end up doing all the GT and everything and not finding their masters? Wow, okay. That's actually pretty big.
That's another sword out of the pool. We're down to 2 swords remaining.
So yeah, with that being said, there could be a sword in Ice Palace or 2. But again, with TR as well. TR in a seed like this. That is a master sword. It is possible that Leslie does not find. Leslie is going to find that ether, which is going to let them find that ice rod. Wow, this could be flipped on its head a little bit.
Yeah, especially if Bradley takes the opportunity to just just go into full go mode as well, and because they've already got the master sword, so.
And they've already cleared swamp, so they still have to walk through Eastern, and it is not with no boots. It is not a negligible time spent. I want to say it's gonna be about 3 or 4 minutes to do Eastern, even if it's just going straight to the boss. It is a long walk. So we'll see. So yeah, this is very good for Bradley. This could even it up depending on where the swords are. If there's a sword in TR and then a sword on the way to the big key, or between the start of GT and Moldorm's chest, then we'll see.
Yeah, if it ends up with Leslie Master Sword and Bradley Tempered, that's going to make a huge difference in time, and literally just a Ganon fight alone, let alone being able to kill everything else faster on the way.
So we are seeing menu strats from both runners. Hopefully they watch this. Even with Fighter Sword, you can still save time by spinning. The menu is very slow in Link to the Past. I think it takes a full second before it pops up, although you can interact with it before then, I believe. Menus are very slow. I want to say it might be 2 seconds each time you use your menu, minimum, but you can buffer your inputs. So, another interesting thing about menus is, if say you're holding your sword out and you want to switch items, but you want to keep your sword charge, you have to release B, because you can't move with your B button held down. Then once you release B and you go back to your menu, while your menu is moving up, you can continue holding your sword, which is useful for Helmasaur if you have silver arrows or just arrows, and you want to keep, once you've hit that last sword or that last hammer hit and you want to switch to your bow and arrow, you can enter the menu while still holding B, then release then once you move to your arrow, you can then release B, or sorry, you can hold down B while your menu's scrolling back up, and you'll keep your menu, which is nice.
I'm not gonna lie, the menu is a deceptively complicated topic for.
Yeah, it really is actually. That's actually why like there's very easy ways to hack the menu away. In fact, if you don't like menuing, if you don't think it's a useful skill, or you just don't like, you can actually use the entrance shuffler to create a non-entrant seed, and it'll create a seed just like it. There's a standalone one. You can use quick menu, or item swapping. Actually, I think even the VTorp site can in non-race seeds.
Yep, there are options there.
Okay, is quick swap an option now on the site? I actually haven't paid attention.
I believe so.
Oh, okay. Because I just made once I found the Mega Man X sprite, I haven't touched the menu in a very long time.
That's basically what I think most people do. Of course, though,
lie. That Mega Man X sprite is my love.
I'll stand by my Fox Link. But yeah, unfortunately, if you are generating a race seed, like if you're going to take part in a tournament, you do have to get used to these systems, though, because those aren't allowed in official races.
But let's be honest, there are thousands upon thousands of people watching these races, and not all of them care to race ever. So, if you were wondering what Quick Swap is, it lets you not use your menu. That's pretty cool.
Yep, you just get to L and R your way through the items.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, Leslie back in T-Rock after their earlier check. Now, this time with the Fire Rod, they're going to come over here. They're going to get at least one key and make their way further into the dungeon all the way through.
Mm-hmm. So now with this, hopefully their next spot is Mire. It probably will be. Oh, actually, quick detour into EP. So they're actually kind of on the way. And with the way that Leslie is moving, unless they find a sword, they might catch up. Because Leslie is going to be checking every chest in TR. And possibly all 27 chests in GT.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of room for Bradley to close this gap and actually win this. It looked like they had a bit of a setback earlier because of Leslie's earlier trip into pod and consequently Mire, but this is definitely not over.
Mm-hmm. It really depends on where the other two swords in the seed are. But that is something I've noticed a little bit in V29 that I felt like happened a lot less in V28. I felt like the swords were a lot. You usually end up with tempered. I felt that there were very few Master Sword seeds.
I'd still find a lot of V29 seeds. It's not by no means guaranteed, but it's still relatively simple to get tempered. But I can see where you're coming from with a little bit of an increase in Master Sword seeds and runners being like, oh no, no, not phase 2 Ganon with Master Sword. Oh, the turtles being uncooperative as always. So Bradley opting to kill the turtles in the hallway there. When they're on their back, you can actually just get through them pretty easily. I'm surprised they weren't just hammer smashing them actually, but then again, given what just happened in the turtle room where the turtles just would not stay on the floor, I really can't blame them. Almost, please. Dodging everything.
But yeah, so currently with Leslie still looking for that sword, checking even Mimic Cave, he is being way more thorough than a lot of runners would be. But again, Master Sword GT, not easy.
They have so many hearts. The scene just keeps giving them more love. But yeah, with the gauntlet in GT, Master Sword is still a bit of a challenge. Tempered allows you to one-shot most of the enemies in it. Master Sword not quite so much. You can still one-shot quite a few, but
yeah, the luckily GT, oddly, like you said, you can actually one-shot a lot of the enemies in there compared to Turtle Rock and Ice, and well, Mire doesn't actually have many enemies at all. Just, now I think about it, very odd. It's very trap-based. It's pretty cool. I never really thought about it very deeply. So yeah.
it kind of makes sense in a way. It's a final dungeon you're storming, so it's nice. It's nice having the lighter enemies in the way that you can just feel awesome smashing through until the ice ward gets in the way.
It does, like, the game really does expect you to have tempered by Dungeon 5. Everything before that, you technically should only, if you're following it in dungeon order, only have Master Sword. Ooh, Leslie gotta be careful. He's gonna want to keep this up because they will not want to die here.
Risking those lasers.
Yeah, you don't want to stun that and then go use the secret door, I think. Yeah. Or not.
No, they got this.
Oh, that was just a compass. Oh. Okay, and now using the secret door.
When you've got not half magic.
Oh man, no Master Sword actually in TR. Bradley's gonna have a much quicker through Misery Mire. Or he's gonna have much faster times through Turtle Rock. This is pretty rough.
I admit that I don't necessarily agree with Leslie's potion use there because
there's a full potion.
And while they're low on health, they could have taken the death outside the door as well to refill at least a large portion of hearts.
Well, I mean, it's up to, like, they might have another potion actually, because they did go to the potion shop. So they probably have their other potion. Although having as many potions as you can't actually damage Trinets with a fighter sword. So this is a required hammer Trinets, as far as Leslie Pro knows.
And unfortunately, it's really easy to do what just happened there, and even just due to the hammer's hitbox, walk into the head you're trying to smash and take damage, get knocked back, and basically lose 2 hits in the cycle. Putting the ice head down before it makes any patches on the floor, though.
Oh.
Ooh, that looked like an uncomfortable position to be in.
Do they have another? Do they have another potion? Oh, thank goodness. Okay, yeah, then brute force in this fight is not too bad.
This is definitely...
Okay, so now this is the tough part. This fight with the hitbox. Y'all using the sword. Oh, tries to use the sword just to get an extra Master Sword hit in there. I think that with his health, that doesn't actually reduce the amount of hammer hits you're going to need. I think his health works out to a way that doesn't do anything, but gets it down quickly enough.
Good job. That's you can lose control of that pretty quickly sometimes, and just have to run around and get him back in nice loot. But Leslie kept him in a consistent.
Okay, so with this, we are moving on. He unfortunately won't have potions for, or he doesn't actually. Wow, there are not a lot of safeties on this seed.
No powder, 2 bottles, no bug net. Bradley's a little bit angry at that chest. Getting squished by the door, but getting through anyway.
Bradley going in. Oh, this room I haven't seen in a while from that side. That actually works out really well.
It's gonna work out perfectly for Bradley in a second because they're about to pick up the ice rod.
Oh, what was that first chest?
Boots.
Oh, wow, okay. Yay! Can't be trolled by the big... I would go check it now! I would totally 100% check the thing there.
Oh my god, that'd be so great. Pick up the boots, going over looking at the
I
torch.
would
Oh,
go
hi, Keith.
look at the torch right away. I wouldn't even mirror. I just like use the stupid door. I just use the stoops door. I'm only calling it that because if you use it, it's usually because you had a momentary. You just forgot, you know. Because like, man, it sucks if you have to if you need that key. It really does, because you can use up all your keys pretty quickly if the GT bid key is in a bad spot. There's the key. Wow, we're finding all the safeties late here.
Game, give us the powder. That's the safety we want to see.
I hesitate to make the same joke 2 days in a row, but the first time I did it as a runner, so I think it's okay. But I feel like this is a GT trying to follow the OSHA safety codes with all these safeties.
I mean, it is a dungeon that has plenty of railings in it too.
I see half magic.
Wow.
I hate to make the same joke twice in a row, 2 days in a row, but
GT, please.
OSHA safety tower. Man. Okay, well.
Oh no. Shovel, please.
Oh, Ether. Does Ether kill them? Wow. Oh, man. Ether doesn't actually take that long. That's faster than doing anything against those guys. And uses less magic than Fire Rod. Hey, I'm gonna steal that.
Especially when they give you half magic the room right before and build it up.
But oh yeah, by the way, we really do need to find a Master Sword before leaving this place. Otherwise, he will have to go to. He might go to. He'll probably go to Catfish, honestly.
He also just got the
as one of
shovel,
his first
so
things.
might.
Yeah, I might check the
consider
good
it.
spot. But again, there's a lot of chests you can check here. The way that he's routing this as well, unless the bid key is in the 22nd spot, which is the game, he will be able to open up the bid chest by continuing on through here, if that's where the Master Sword is.
I've actually had a scene where I was coming through here without the mirror and it was at ice armor. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna open the big chest on my way past and there's silver arrows in it.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it does have a really nice item in it.
Oh! Oh! Ah, there it is. But we don't have a... So is he gonna... Yes, he is. I would have said he was gonna do that. And that's what most runners are gonna do in this case. Again, if there are no swords in GT, that is huge for Bradley. If they can get up this mountain.
Yeah, half the dead rocks would get out of the way.
If you ever have excessive dead rock troubles... Oh, he's actually going to go full heal. That's actually understandable. He took a lot of damage, so may as well. So you're almost over there. No swords would make this very interesting. I think that in that case, they'd be fighting Ganon at roughly the same time. Because with Tempered Sword, it's still worth it to check the Laser Bridge for Bredley. But they're going to have a lot faster Trinets fight, or at least easier, so in theory faster. Bredley does not want to deal with any more Dead Rot, so it's just taken the dark way through the mountain. With Turtle Rock already being open, this is totally fine. That might be faster?
I think it's technically always slower, but
Not
unless
with
Dead Rock.
Turtle Rock open going into Turtle Rock. I don't think it is. I think that it's roughly the same.
All right. It also hinges on Dead Rocks, being Dead Rocks. All right, well, Leslie not checking tile room for that sword, so time to go up the gauntlet. So that leaves Leslie with only a few more chests here to find a sword. Otherwise, it's going to
it's actually only 4. And 1 is after Moldorm, and so Master Sword does speed up Moldorm a bit, or at least makes it a significantly easier fight. The biggest thing is actually the Gauntlet. There's a lot of time to be saved in the Gauntlet. He's going to use his Fire Rod thanks to the half magic you found on the torch, but you kind of want that magic for other things as well. So it does slow it down.
Yeah,
so also just bombos your way.
Yeah, I was literally about to say surprised he's not using bombos, but here we go. Time for explosions.
He might just bomb us through the rest of these rooms. Oh no, he's pulled out his arrow. That's fine too. Arrow works pretty well in this part, because this guy usually cooperates. Again, the problem with the Gauntlet is that it, oh yeah, you can also actually just throw them into the spikes. They will take damage from the spikes if you move them into them, but they'll never actually voluntarily walk into the spikes.
Fairly quick landmo too there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Buttersword being a little too short to hit that guy from where he swung.
And yeah, he's gonna use his... He actually has more than enough. I think he could use his Fire Rod for all those, but hey, may as well do what's safer for you. Don't bonk. Yeah. Bonking there would probably have actually costed him. No half magic yet for Bredley.
Here comes the chest.
Okay, this is going to be the moment of truth here. Master Sword here would save Leslie. There it is. Okay. Now, with that, bomb in the chest a bit. He's still going to check the next 2 chests in case they have a sword as well. Which they could. With there also might be one in ice. We've seen most of the overworld. Pyramid Fairy's another one. Definitely go check the last chest here. Meme or not, there are very legitimate reasons to check that chest. Primarily swords, actually. Silvers, it's if you don't have silvers, you should always check that chest every single time, because silvers will save you more than enough time. Forgot to move his. The explosion actually just got erased by too many explosions on the screen. Nope, no sword there. Unfortunately.
The explosions are exploding the explosions.
Yeah, actually, there were too many sprites on screen. I think that the chest appeared on the same time the bomb explosion was going to happen, and that's actually what did it. And we're moving on. And so this is going to be Master Sword for him. Bradley, I mean, if Leslie's not very practiced on the Master Sword part, this could take quite a bit. That was a nice triple, though. Oh, this could be a triple with enough. No, that might have been a triple if he didn't charge up the spin and he was slashing and knew the timing. But that would be very difficult geometry. Unfortunately, there's no more simple geometry.
Well, he had some good patterns to start with. No, he's
yeah, that was a nice triple. Yeah, and now Ado won decent eventually from his copies, and it becomes very difficult to hit him with his copies.
But Agatu's down, so. Leslie opting to do some more preparation for the Ganon fight. Probably a potion refill at the very least.
Yeah, so we're going to see Ganon fight here from Leslie. This is pretty difficult, but he did grab some extra potions and full heal, so it's not going to be as hard as it could be.
And with half magic, can afford to use the cape, we're going to say, because we don't like leg on the Fire Bats phase. Oh yeah, there's also the part where he has 18 hearts. Unfortunately with Blue Mail, this can disappear very, very quickly, as virtually everything Ganon does just hurts you a lot.
Yeah, so it requires 12 spins for each of these first two phases, and then 4 spins for the other phase, that always takes 4 hits. And then, luckily, with silvers, we only need to spin. And with Kate, it's not too bad, because we can just do this.
Yep, nice quick second cycle, without any real worry of getting hit. Alright, into phase 3.
And Bradley does have that other blue potion.
Yeah, this is pretty rough. Now with that, I would probably just slash, because you can hit him with the Master Sword. It just doesn't deal a lot. But he's just doing this way, and it is working out.
Ooh.
Oh, and that is, yeah, he's gonna have to take that. You can actually do that fight with just Master Sword slashes, with full bar magic. It's pretty tight, but I think you have even a little bit of leeway. He's thinking he's gonna go and make another attempt. There are fairies you can get if you mirror here. Does he know? He does know. You have to be very, very careful though, because you'll lose quite. Oh no, he's actually just gonna flute grab more potions and then do it. And that is GG for Leslie Pro. With that done, and while Bradley is just going to grab potions, I do want to remind you, if you did like what you're seeing here from our runners, feel free to give them a follow. Their names are right there in chat. And that is congratulations to Leslie Pro there on his victory. Roughly a 1:45. We don't have his actual time there.
Yep, GG on that one. Fortunate sword at near the end of GT there. That would have been a little bit rough having to run around and look, but
yeah, that was a little bit of a rough end of the seed. Unfortunately, you could have just go-moded it fully. Well, at least to GT, since there were no swords in any of the dungeons. I'm pretty sure there's another sword in Ice Palace. Could also be at Pyramid Fairy. Could be at Ditch Spot as well. We'll find out actually shortly. It will tell us if it's a sword. Unless we missed it. If so, whoops. Oh, you getting blocked again.
these dead rocks are just not giving Bradley a break.
Yeah, we're just waiting on if Leslie Pro wants to interview. He's got the link for it. Where's Bradley? Oh!
Not quite the spot.
Oh, maybe just... I'm not sure what happened there.
They're trying to jump down to the portal, I believe.
Nope, they went back up. So... I guess they realized... Yeah, it's actually pretty long to walk through there if you're not already doing it.
I believe with this one here, they'll land right on their port. Nope. Okay, one.
Oh, yeah, they... Oh, right, they left the safety portal there. I completely forgot.
Unfortunately, this isn't something you get to do very often, so it's really easy to not know which jump-off point is the one you need, but...
For the longest time, I thought that there was no way to jump off there. I thought that you were just kind of, well, I guess I'm stuck. I know that you can from the other side. Or from... You can if it's if you leave it the other mirror spot at Mimic Cave. You can definitely do it.
Alright, back in Turtle Rock with another complement of potions.
You can only backdoor Turtle Rock if you have a mirror. Both glitching and not glitching if you have if you've left a portal there. If you glitch, you can actually do it without leaving a portal.
There's a lot of stuff you can do with glitching.
There's a lot of stuff you can do with portals. And there it is. There's the other head down. So now it's just a matter of dodging a giant snake. Snake, dragon, turtle fin.
I think it's safe to classify it as a snake. It doesn't have any limbs anymore, so.
And some dragons don't have limbs, and he's totally flying. So.
But he rattles, therefore rattlesnake.
That's true. He does rattle a bit. He does breathe fire though, just not necessarily that head.
He's a weird boss. We'll just leave it at that.
And we're gonna see Ridley will of course have an easier time through all of the end game here. The Master Sword find at Catfish was pretty big. I kind of wish Leslie would come in here so that we could get his, let him know that there was a sword at Catfish. We're gonna see things like their menu time now, as soonish, once these credits are rolled. Always a nice part.
Alright, Bradley's probably going to be a bit more inclined to go straight up.
Yeah.
GT once.
Looks like they're the right side though, which is gonna lead. Oh, nope, they are not. They are opted not to. Realize they have boots, so why not check the boots item here and go left side?
I believe this will work out for them anyways, because I believe the big key is over here, so save a little bit of time.
Only 5 bonds, 1 required, it's only 4 Etanol bonds. Pretty good. No fairy revivals or deaths in the run. That's always very nice. No 166. Considering he had to full clear all these bigger dungeons, that's a pretty good collection rate. Okay, hello Leslie Pro.
Welcome, GG.
Oh, we're going to see Bradley continue moving through the castle. Oh, he's used bombs here instead of his Samaria chain.
A bit unusual, but it works all the same.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping that I wouldn't have to run into the old Master Sword Ganon fight, because last night's Nightly I died 4 times in that. And thanks for the GGs, by the way. I forgot I had push to talk on for a second.
Master Sword Ganon is a particularly challenging fight, but with a little bit of potion preparation and quite honestly a ton of hearts.
Also, I mean, you had Cape and Burna, so it, not too difficult. Plus, you had Silver, so it wasn't a full Master Sword fight. That is honestly the hard part about Master Sword is the endurance of 24 spins in the final phase. Quite a bit easier when you only have to spin 4 times, for like 3 to 4 times. So, GG on Yan through it though. We don't know where the 4th sword is, but we know a 3rd sword is on Catfish.
I never wound up going that way, so I basically wound up, I basically, outside a tile room, full cleared Ganon's tower just to get a sword, so...
Yeah, I guess I mean, a sword could be at either, losing his... Just trying to do this, so the way, ironically, did the damageless way, it still took 3 hearts of damage. Which is usually the other way to do that room, is to take 3 hearts of damage intentionally. And getting through here with silvers very easily. Sorry.
Yeah, silvers were easily accessible. This was a lot of stuff, but so we're getting all this stuff, it's like, okay, game, what's the catch? With these seeds, there's always a catch, and this time it happened to be swords, so I had to be very careful in certain areas, like in Gauntlet, where the 3rd room went off the rails. It's like, screw it, cut my losses, bombos, gone.
Hey, and using a lot of people with just the sword will just bombos through there. It's a lot faster. But you did have half magic, so using Fire Rod, not too bad if you're with the silvers as well. Then you can just kind of burst through the Gauntlet pretty quickly with all the options available to you.
Yeah, and
obviously, Bradley does have Master Sword right now, so does have a little bit of an easier time with some of these rooms.
Yeah, that was my first time going through there with fighter swords, so that was literally a trial by fire in that regard.
I approve of the pun.
Yeah, and I must apologize to those who are fans of seeing Bob in these seeds, but honestly, half magic on Torch is just too good to pass up, especially with boots where they were in the first 2 chests on the right side, because that was one of the things going through my mind. It's like, okay, if my opponent went this way and got boots, I'm in big trouble, but to see boots there, that actually felt like a bit of a relief.
I don't think anybody's really gonna, like, if you see half magic just sitting on a torch, I think any runner is going to pick that up. It is way too good an item to pass up just for a little bit of memery.
Yeah, at that point, memery. Yeah, there's times for memery, and that didn't feel like it.
Especially not when you were also looking for something else. Anything that would help you get up GT easier is what you want to pick up. So, and the ability to fire rod and bombos your way through the gauntlet. As much as we love Bob, definitely pick up the half magic.
Oh yeah, because it wasn't just going up GT that I was worried about. I was also worried about the Ganon fight. Because last night, the 2 big differences between tonight and last night is that I had half magic and cape tonight. Last night I didn't have that and proceeded to get the business from the pig, unfortunately. And that, as unfortunate as it was, left me feeling the salt.
I mean, I guess at Constellation, salt is used to prepare meat, so it's you can just turn around and immediately use it on Ganon. But yeah, this was actually a really, really good fight on Ganon tonight. You came back from that and decided to teach him a lesson, so.
Yep, I definitely did teach him a lesson, and that's also why I went out to get potions, because I figured I was going to need them without a doubt. So I figured, you know what, at this point, if it costs me the race to go get potions, then so be it. But I'd rather lose due to getting potions and being prepared than lose by getting my head handed to me by the final boss.
It does take a little bit of time, but it is also a peace of mind thing. So you just go in there and you can just cape through like all of phase 2 and not even worry about it.
Yeah, it's basically what I did was mostly cape phase 2 until I ran out of magic, and then I'm like, you know what, we're good. I'll just fill it up once we hit phase 3.
And we're seeing here is just he got his tempered sword. Luckily, did chip those extra chests again. These last chests, including the last one, as much as it's a joke for chat, there are many reasons to check these chests. Primarily swords and silvers. Otherwise, half magic and other safeties if you're not very comfortable with the fight.
Yep, you could also look out and get a piece of heart to fill a heart container at a very good time.
If you're keeping track of your heart containers as well, yeah, there's also that. And I mean, that is actually usually the best way. If you're low on health and you have been keeping track of your heart containers, which some people do with certain trackers as well as just in their head, maybe I usually, near the end of a seed, try to keep track of if I did a heart refill or not, and then start counting my heart pieces. It's just a little extra optimization you can do is to keep track of those. Absolutely. Yes, we did tell Leslie that the other sword was at Catfish.
Yeah, normally I head out that way and pair that in with Zora's Domain, but this seed was pointing to Zora's Domain too early to ignore it, and sure enough, we found progression there. So that's just the way that played out. Also, speaking of heart refills, shame on the game putting Sanctuary Heart at Mothula. What a waste. I like seeing that in a dungeon, not right before I'm gonna get a refill anyway.
Oh, well, I mean, it's gonna be where it's gonna be. It's not treated any differently than anything else, although it would be kind of cool if it was, but at least finding it, you don't find it every seed. It's kind of neat to see that refill. Technically saves you time by refilling it before the cutscene starts, so technically saved you a little bit of time still.
Yeah, that is true. Didn't think of that. Also, nasty trick, but also that was pretty much a vanilla fire rod for all intents and purposes, and it's vanilla dungeon.
Vanilla section of the dungeon, yeah. Doesn't require the big key or a bomb to get to, so it's a little different. But yeah, it's right in the vanilla area it's normally in.
I can see Ganon rearranging that one. Just picked it up out of the big chest, like, I don't feel like carrying this.
Yeah. Bradley not realizing they can't spin, but luckily they've got a bunch of potions still.
The real reason aside from the leg, unfortunately the blue king uses up all your sparkles, so you've got none for the sword, and therefore can't charge it.
I want to say there's a telepathic tune somewhere that actually says that Berna uses a similar power that the Master Sword uses, or that your sword uses to do that spin. It's like a mat. I think somewhere it actually explains why. Berna, for all intents and purposes, other than the lack of spin, is an upgrade to the cape. It uses less magic. It deals damage. The only downside is that it doesn't let you spin.
Which is literally only a problem in, like, this fight.
Yeah, it's literally just a problem in Randomizer or Challenge Runs. But in Challenge Runs, you're not getting the cape anyway, so...
Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Bradley fell in Ganon's final phase. That's something you need to see, because I lost a race like that in the last fall tournament.
Oh yeah, and as we can now see, we do see the fall there.
Fortunately, still has plenty of magic and health. They're just gonna grab the fairy here and probably, head straight back up.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, he got caught in a bad spot there, but we'll see him do it. Oh, just gotta dodge a little bit there. That Trident actually does deal quite a bit of damage. Not as much as touching Ganon himself, but pretty darn close. I want to say the Trident deals 4 on green mail versus Ganon 6 on green mail.
Yeah, it still does like 3 with the blue mail as well.
Yeah, all of Ganon's attacks, instead of dealing like half or quarter, only deal 1 less for each mail upgrade. Still significant difference for red mail. I think it's still it's less. It's 6-4-2 for touching him and 4-3-2 for Trident. Mail gets fishy once you get past the first few enemies, but for the most part, it either halves or quarters. Oh, and dies again, unfortunately. Gets bounced into Ganon, who materialized instantly, which he doesn't normally do. He's gonna run down, grab the fairy, I assume.
Fortunately, didn't actually spend much, if any, magic in that fight, so...
So just needs to grab this fairy for extra health. May as well grab this little bit of safety rather than use your bottle.
Getting a convenient little bit of extra magic, too.
And moving on, Bradley's probably going to get it this time, as long as he plays a little bit safe. You want to try to avoid the edges. Basically, after every single hit of Ganon, the best thing to do is to go straight to the middle of the room in the 3rd phase, and then follow him throughout there. The biggest problem with that is you might miss the 4th phase doing that. I'd even do it in the 4th phase, although sometimes he'll just not teleport, which is very weird. No, he died. He got knocked by the Bombos fire flames after the Quake animation, and then got bounced straight into Ganon from that. So, and not in 3rd phase just yet. Again, he's probably a little bit worried after those 2 deaths, playing it a little bit safe.
That's basically just how to approach this fight if you're concerned. If you take your time, it's not too difficult, but when you're trying to go fast, you can really slip up and fall down very quickly.
Cape was just a little bit further through GT than Bradley had to go, because they weren't searching for the sword as deep.
I didn't even realize that he didn't pick it up.
No, he didn't pick it up. So he's just on this, which is fine, because again, he could just use Burna to get through these phases if he wanted. He really wants to get this torch glitch. It's not as important with silvers. In fact, you can actually set up... Oh, no. Hold. Yeah. I like it. Playing it safer.
Just walk really slow.
Yeah, and honestly, Ganon's hitbox is terrible.
It's smaller than you would think it would be, given how large he is.
Well, you gotta think he's actually standing like vertically, so you're only really able to hit like the bottom half of him, right? It's the same in the other games. He's always much taller than you when he's in beast form.
Yeah.
But just think of Link to the Past. Where do you have to hit him in Link to the Past? You literally can only affect his tail in that game, or sorry, not in Ocarina of Time. He like towers over you so much. His only weak point is his tail. So
they wanted to avert the classic trope of when fighting big things, just stabbing them in the toes until they die.
Yeah.
What else can we do? Oh,
but there he is. There's the 4th hit. Oh, hopefully you'll be able to get him in there. I thought he triggered potion. I thought he triggered arrow glitch, and luckily he did get out of it. And congratulations, Bradley, on finishing. GG.
GG indeed.
Oh, you might be on push to talk.
Okay, is it working?
Yes.
There we go.
Yep, it is working. GG.
GG, Leslie. Well done. Nice time on that one.
Thank you, thank you. There were some parts of that seed that really tied me up. Like, I went into Ganon's tower still looking for a second sword. Never went up to
Ooh.
Catfish, so I wound up going outside a tile room doing a full clear of the darn thing.
Oh.
But that's where I found Cape.
You see you found Cape on the right side then?
That I did.
Okay. And then did you get your Master Sword on up on towards the end? Those where I got my tempered?
Yep, that's precisely where I got it, and then I proceeded to drop a bomb on that chest because I thought that was pretty rude trick of the game.
Oh man, yeah. I have no idea where that fourth one is. I got when I went to Catfish, I got Master Sword, and I was like, oh, well, at least I don't have to worry about that. And I was hoping, like, I cleared so much, I was hoping to find another stinking sword. Jeez.
And the only big difference that you guys honestly had routing-wise that made the big difference is Bradley, you just avoided pod for a really long time versus go into, like, pretty much right after Leslie got the lamp, and you guys both got that relatively within the same distance of each other. Oh yeah, and you cleared Thieves Town instead of just checking the first 4 was the other difference. Yeah, the avoidant pod, which meant you didn't get Ether, which meant you didn't go to Mire. So that was the big difference there.
Not surprised at all. I honestly forgot about pod for the longest time. I was like what? Oh my gosh, Palace of Darkness. Oh, well, okay then. And that's when I routed up to Catfish and stuff, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
You were unfortunately over in Eastern earlier, so.
What?
You were over in Eastern earlier, so it's understandable not wanting to go back there like immediately.
Yeah, and we had early access to it too, so I completely forgot about it, and it would have been easy to do it with Eastern, finishing up Eastern too.
You actually had to go into Eastern because the siege is like, here's the Moon Pearl in the dungeons. Like,
Yeah, I was feeling really good about it until I realized that I'd forgotten pod, and then I was like, oh, that's not. There's gonna be something in there, and I mean, at that point, I'd already seen that I needed Ether for Mire, and I was like, and I'd already cleared Swamp. I wish I'd remembered pod before Swamp. If I'd done that, that would have been a huge difference as well.
Yeah, I had to menu boss Swamp, and I'm like, we tried to avoid this, but unfortunately, this is how the seed's playing out, so let's do it.
Yeah, same here. It's the first time I've ever had to do menu boss on Argus. It was fun.
Well, it certainly is a thing, that's for sure.
That it is. But freaking Ganon. I'm so mad. The worst Ganon fight of my life.
I had a pretty bad one last night as well, so I've definitely been there. In fact, last fall, I had a very close race in the Open tournament that I lost because I fell at Ganon, so yeah, it definitely happens.
Yeah, I'd checked on the Speed Racing TV right before I entered Ganon's Tower, so I knew I'd lost at that point. And otherwise, that would have tilted me even worse. My first death again, because I had 2 arrows left, and I just I went too let down low, and he hit me, hugged me, and then I fell, and I was just tilted so bad.
I'll admit I was kind of curious as to how that swing actually missed. I'm guessing it was just a little bit too early before he finished teleporting in, but
I think I was just a little too antsy about it. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I was kind of wondering that, and I was like, "What? I'm so bad." And then it was bad. But that was fun. It was fun.
Certainly was. And thankfully, one of the concerns I had coming into this race was routing, because I had made some pretty big-time routing mistakes of late in a couple of the nightly races, which are a lot of fun to participate. If you guys haven't and you play Randomizer, you really should, because those start at 10 o'clock. And yeah, let's just say, thankfully this time I seemed to get the routing down, but there was this voice in the back of my head that was like, okay, what if this was the place? What if that was the case? Basically, things that could have gone wrong. Thankfully, none of those came to fruition, or else I could have been in big trouble.
Yeah, well, unlucky for me. I kept telling myself I need to go into dungeons, and I just kept doing overworld. And I was like, go into the dungeons, go into the dungeons. And I was like, but I don't want to do swamp yet, and I can't do mire. I don't want to do ice, and I kept forgetting about pod. That makes me so mad. Once I remembered pod, I was like, this is ridiculous. I would have got in here so long ago.
It's one of those things I'm sure you'll remember for the future. Next time you'll just, all right, can I do pod? Yes, okay.
And then it won't have anything because you know,
of course,
that's how it works, right?
Yep.
Well, I think that's pretty good. We've got a bunch of matches going on. In fact, they're gonna have to get ready for a restream on ALTTPR. So there are tons of matches for you to watch. Make sure that you check the schedule. Obviously, if you did enjoy what you saw from any of the runners, definitely give them a follow. Again, Leslie Pro 04 and Bradley here. This was 0-1, correct?
1-0.
1-0.
Oh, this is actually 1-0. Okay, my bad.
I'm
Sorry.
1-1, which is my goal
That's
going
actually
into
not
this was
bad
to
at all.
win one. My goal going into this was to win one, so I got that first week, so I felt pretty good.
Yeah, 1-0 actually at this 1-1 at this point actually still gives you a pretty good chance of moving on because competition isn't super tight until like the later rounds. But yeah, no, already having one win is a huge thing. My bad there, but yeah, 1-1 is perfectly good. Definitely make sure that you support the network. Late spot, perfect time. Those are all the ways you can support the network. And what else? There are tons of other tournaments. If you're actually interested in new tournaments, maybe you're thinking, I want to speed run, and tournaments seem like a good way to learn, and they are, because then you know there's an active community. I know there is a Mega Man 2 Game Boy tournament starting soon. So that's unique. If you've never seen the Game Boy ones, they are like the NES games, essentially. They play like modified versions of the NES games. And if you're into randomizers, I hear that the Zero Mission randomizer might have a tournament coming up. Possibly. It's either Zero Mission any percent, or it's either Zero Mission Vanilla Bingo or Zero Mission Randomizer Bingo, I think. So look forward to those. And thank you very much for your time, everyone. There are matches going on in ALTTPR 1 through 3, and I think that there's some speed gaming ones as well. So feel free to watch any of those. Have a nice night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.